Hi, I'm Tony Fleming, and this is Fleming's Ultimate Garage. Hey, thanks for joining us on today's probably best looking car ever, right? Huh? I was getting ready to call it Sublime because we just had a Sublime Challenger and we're just doing a video on this. So Limelight AAR Cuda with the correct 340 TA block showing on there, just like this car rolled off the showroom floor. It is super, super authentic. We're talking about one of 2,700 roughly built, 2,724 to be exact, built. All right, they had to build these cars to go racing, which is the opposite of what NASCAR is. NASCAR saying was, we'll win on Sunday, we'll sell cars on Monday, right? Here it was backwards. They had to build these cars to actually go racing. So they had to sell them to the public first, then they do this Trans Am series in the 70s. That's what makes these so cool. That's how the Z28 was born, a couple of the other cars, AMX, stuff like that. That's how these things became so popular. So as we walk around the car, this is the original color of this car. There's very few of these cars built. I think Govier could probably tell us how many of that. One important feature that makes it just a little bit ugly, but not ugly, right, is the hood on this car. It's a super big piece of history. When we're talking about cars approaching 50 years old, you see this slight little bow in the hood, right? See, it's flush here at the hinge like it's supposed to be. This is the original hood for this car. It's fiberglass, right? So fiberglass didn't last as well as metal. And this is actually a positive. If you were getting this car judged, they would give you points for having this small little gap difference right here, because that's exactly what it's supposed to look like. But this car has been fully restored, and I'm talking about fully restored, from all new chrome, bumpers, fog lights, right? The correct splitter spoilers there, the correct 15-inch rally wheels painted the right way, right? Polyglass tires, very expensive tires, right? You don't want to show that off. All of the detail, the side exit exhaust like it's supposed to be. All right, as we walk around and we keep looking at this car, it is great. Check out the quality of this paint for a second. It is like mirror finish. It is beautiful. All right, so we got our spoilers here, front and rear. So they dressed this car up to go racing. They would have lowered it a little bit, obviously, and you could do the same. This one here has had a rebuild of the engine and transmission and rear end. The engine has an additional 100 horsepower all done inside. You're not going to see any of that, but it comes with a dyno sheet showing that the actual power at the rear wheels is up 100 horsepower from the factory. That's a pretty nice setup, all right? Come over here too, because I want you to see, this is what makes for great cars. If Colin could go back here for a second. I just want to show you how straight the panel fitment is as you look down here. This takes hours and hours and hours. You say, when you see a car and you go, wow, that's a great looking car. A lot of times we don't know why it's a great looking car. Well, it's a great looking car, first off, because everything fits nicely, okay? Second, great looking color combination. The strobe stripe call out. This right here, AAR stood for All American Racing Cuda. That was the race team, all right? And that's what they stickered their cars up to look like. Whether it was drag racing, Trans Am racing, or whatever, Plymouth and Dodge were heavy into racing at the time because they knew if they raced and they won, people like us would buy their cars, all right? And so here we see that tiny little bow in the hood again, right? And if you look really hard, you can actually see the steel inserts that are inside there that keeps it all together. These cars could hit 180 miles an hour at certain times, right? For a modified race car, 180 miles an hour, you want the stuff to stay together. How you doing? All right, I'm getting ready to take the hood pins off, but I would like it at my eulogy and when I check out, if you guys could install these on my casket, since they're my favorite piece of any car, is hood pins. Because when you're pulling off hood pins, you know you got a cool car, right? Who pulls off hood pins off a Prius? No one, right? Okay, and then what's great about it, it's just so light. It lifts right up. It's got factory hinges on it, okay? And stays the way it's supposed to be. Let's look at detail now. Again, we're back to important docs on this car. So the car is an original car. It has the original fender tags here, and it has the correct Trans Am call-out fender tag here. It was required to go racing. They had to have that fender tag there so they could count how many they had to build before they could go racing, all right? Replica battery here, all right? Look at the detail, though. We have the correct high-performance manifolds on there, all right? The block is detailed, and it's also got a couple nice features that other cars might not have, and that is it has power steering, all right? That's a big deal, man. Power disc brakes are on this car. Most people don't know that a lot of cars, including 446-pack cars and Hemi cars, came with drum brakes. You had to step up to get disc brakes on some of those cars, depending on the year of the car. Can you imagine? No. And you know, part of the details that make Mopars different than any other car is the fact that they have the painted engine compartments and painted trunks in them, and that's why they look so good, where a Ford or a Chevy might just have this painted black, and it doesn't make everything pop, especially in this color. All right, so let's check out the detail of this, and let's just say you weren't going Trans Am racing, even though you could, but let's say you wanted to show this car, right? Let's look at how authentic that might be. We have the correct jacking instructions here. We have the correct space saver inflator. We have the inflator bottle there. The trunk is painted like it's supposed to be instead of painted black or satin black, right? And we're finished in here. It's just beautifully wet sanded and buffed. Even the trunk lid underneath, wet sanded and buffed. I mean, this is a really nice restoration. I put a couple docks back here because these docks are an important part too. Here's an original style owner's manual. Here's the build sheet for this car. This is an important part, having the fender tags there. And the build sheet is a key to the authenticity of this. This happened to be in the package. And then this I wanted to show you real quick. This is the dyno sheet. Here's rear wheel horsepower, as it starts out at 246 rear wheel horsepower. Okay, right there. Now here it is at 343 right here. So it's almost 100 horsepower more just in the tuning, building, and what have you of this car, and that's why this car runs so really, really well. All right, so come join me in here where you might have sat circa 1970 racing against the likes of Phil Donahue, and you hear that right there? That is a good sign of a restoration. That's annoying, but nobody makes that stuff work unless they're trying to restore a car the correct way. The key and buzzer, super annoying, but to me it says right away, somebody spent some money on it. This has some nice upgrades. You didn't always get a console, right? And this is buckets. This also has the slapstick shifter. It works like this. Pull it down into first, let the button go, smack it as hard as you want, won't go any farther, let it click back just a little bit, and hit it for third gear. You can't ever miss a shift. It's foolproof. It's probably one of the best shifters ever made, and it works like a champ. All right? Full array of gauges, so it's not just lights. You have your fuel, of course, temp, alternator, speedometer, HVAC system that has the original AM radio in this car. All right? Fog light switch right there. Little stuff like this is still working. Look how nicely done the interior is. The headliner lines up, the door panels are new, the carpets are new, the mats are new, the seat covers are new. It's just a wonderful, wonderful car, and a beautiful car to drive, and this great looking 3-spoke steering wheel, which makes it even better. All right, so as we close up this video, I don't know this to be true, but I can only suspect that this could be the only one like it left in the world. Color, 340 TA block in there, with the extra items that came with this car. This has a great build to it. Not to mention it's a beautiful restoration, very period correct. I mean, the tires alone were $1,400 just for that, just if you want to take it to a car show or what have you. It is really, really a cool piece. They say they built 2,724 of them. How many in Sublime? How many are left? How many are the real deal? How many weren't crushed, right? This is a really, really cool piece, and you should be ultra, ultra proud to make it a piece of your collection. Anyway, call us 301-816-1000. We'll find a way to get this bad AAR Cuda in your garage. Nothing quite sounds like 6-pack, side exit exhaust, solid lift camshaft, bad little motor. Hold on, check this out.